What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with a new video. As you can tell by the title of this video, we're talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2023. I got some thoughts on this movie. We'll get into that in a minute. So for once, we're not talking about Ninja Turtles today, even though we're talking about Turtles and Koopas, but that's beside the point. So, right off the bat, I really enjoyed this movie. This is a really fun movie. If you like Mario and you like Nintendo, you will like this movie. I know there's mixed reactions on it right now between audiences and critics, but people critically I just don't like anyway, because they're like, oh well, this animation flaw was here, this keynote here was not good, this particular action scene. No, shut up. I'm here to watch a Mario movie. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything detail wise. As long as I have a good time with the movie, I don't care. So, anyway, with that being said, the movie's not perfect. I mean, it's almost perfect. There's just a few things that would have changed on it, but it's minor nitpick stuff. Illuminations, pat yourselves on the back for this. This is a really well animated movie. Visually, I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. Like, the whole time the movie was playing, I'm like, this is gorgeous. This is awesome. Like, I remember when I first heard the thing, like, oh really, Illumination's gonna be making this shit? It's like, they have such a very specific style, and it's like they completely threw that out the window. It's like, we're sticking with what people know, and they delivered. They did an amazing job bringing this movie to life. I still see people like, oh, Chris Pratt's not good Mario. When I was watching the movie, yeah, you can tell it's Chris Pratt, but it's like, you can't really tell it's Chris Pratt. Like, I thought he was Mario. He was doing a good job as Mario. Not once in that theater when he starts talking, I'm like, that's just Chris Pratt, man. I like Chris Pratt as an actor. I like Chris Pratt as an actor already. He's like one of my favorite actors in the business. He is my go-to guy for a live-action Gravity Man movie if that ever would have happened. He is the one I want to play Gravity Man as a live-action adaptation, because he was loosely based off of him. Or Gravity Man was loosely based off of Chris Pratt. Because when I created that character, he was one of my favorite actors at that time, and he still is one of my favorite actors at this time. But, Charlie Day as Luigi did really well. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad was really well done. Jack Black as Bowser was god tier in some cases. Anna Taylor-Joy, I won't probably pronounce that name right, was the actress who played Peach. She did really well. All the supporting cast members did really well. The animation crew did phenomenal. And I was so afraid another thing that Illumination was going to do was just fart jokes. Or like, oh, well, you guys are plumbers, so you're going to have to tell poop jokes and stuff all the time. No, I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that. There's really not a joke like that. All the humor that they throw in there is actually really funny to me. I was laughing several parts in this movie because it was a fun movie. It was a fun family movie, and it was funny. It was really funny for me. I know there's a lot of people who are going to be like, well, the humor kind of felt forced, and some jokes don't really land with you, and like, that's okay, because everyone's got their own opinion on comedy. It's the comedy with anything is just hit or miss. It could turn out one way, it could turn out the other. There are two post-credit scenes. The first one is funny. The second one is kind of hint to what they could do to the future. The overall plot is kind of hidden in the trailers. They don't really explain a whole lot of the plot. I'm not going to do any spoilers here. Just know that it is very reminiscent to what some of the later Mario games do. Because as you guys know, Peach does not get kidnapped in this movie like everyone was expecting. Because, for those of you who don't know, a lot of people were pissed because Peach was a warrior princess in this movie. That's actually pulled directly from the comic books from the late 90s, like mid to early 90s, where Peach was a warrior. She was fighting alongside her people. And, that's where they're taking inspiration from. So I didn't have a problem with Princess Peach being a warrior. I'm not calling it woke or anything like that. They don't treat it like that. They treat her like, I'm a princess who has to protect her kingdom, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that my people are safe. She's not like, oh, well, I'm a woman, I can't do this, or people think I can't do this. No, there's several people who think she can do this because she is a badass, and she does kick ass in this movie. They don't make her any stronger than Mario. Mario has his own time to shine. It's a perfect, fun little movie. I will say, though, I'm a little irritated on one thing, and they do touch upon it in the trailers. Mario and Luigi are split up through most of the movie, but man, does it lead up to one awesome scene by the end of the movie, and I had a big dumb smile on my face like 97% of this movie. I think the only voice actor I had a problem with was Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong. I like Donkey Kong. He was never one of my favorite Mario characters, but I did like him as a character. For some reason, I always thought he was a bad guy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, he's kind of a good guy, but not really a good guy, and it's like, well, he's a good guy, but he's not a good guy type thing. So I was a little, confused on that, but like Seth Rogen just did his standard voice. There is one scene where he does his signature laugh, and he didn't do anything different with his voice. So he did what everyone thought Mario was going to be like. It was just going to be Chris Pratt with just a little bit of Brooklyn accent. Seth Rogen just does his regular voice. He did what everyone thought Chris Pratt was going to do and just do his regular voice. I kind of expected that. Seth Rogen doesn't really change his voice for roles when it comes to stuff like that. That's why I'm hoping he does something at least slightly different with Bebop, since he is voicing Bebop in the upcoming Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, which I will do a separate video on that because I have several thoughts on that trailer, and they're not good thoughts. I know I was supposed to do that several weeks ago, but movie's not out yet. I can still talk about it. So, I will say though, the subplot or the main plot of this movie, I saw coming a mile away. Because it's like, okay, they're not going to have Princess Peach be captured. What else can they do to have, what other storylines can they do? And the one that they chose was very recognizable from a lot of Mario games. And, for those of you who are worried that the movie was going to be a hardcore musical, there are 2 original music scores in there, both of which are almost exactly the same, but everything else is done through soundtrack. And there are a lot of songs in there that are like, okay, yeah, you guys used it, but you didn't use it for the right scene. Like, not giving too much away, the final Shrek battle in Shrek 2 song, I Need a Hero, they do use that song in this movie, so that's not really spoilerish. That just is a song that's in a movie. And they don't use it the right way. It wasn't a bad scene that they used it in. I just would not have used that song in that particular scene. So, like I said, Chris Pratt as Mario, I thought was really well done. He definitely did. He basically took advice from some of the other people who worked on the movie, like, make Mario your own voice. Make his voice your own. Not like do something different with it. And I'm assuming that's what he was told, because he did make his voice different. He did do something different. Yes, you can tell it's Chris Pratt, but you can't really tell it's Chris Pratt. Jack Black is the same way. He did an amazing job with Bowser. Like I said, he did such an amazing job with it. He's going to go down as like one of the best Bowsers in history. And that may be an overstretch, but he just did such an amazing job. Even when it comes to the musical side of stuff, which was literally just played up for laughs, it was done so well, and he just did such an amazing job as Bowser. And I'm hoping that he comes back for a future movie. Because like I said, there are 2 post-credit scenes. The first one is funny. The second one does set up something that could happen in the second movie. So there were thousands and thousands of Easter eggs to other Mario movies, other Mario video games. Key notes taken from actual Mario levels and stuff. So that was all fun because I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I saw that. Oh, I'm like, and some people can think that that's, not fun, where it's just, oh, it's just cheap nostalgia and blah, 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 blah. Because that's one of the things people didn't like about Spider-Man No Way Home, because they're like, oh, well, you're just doing this for a nostalgia trip and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that movie made almost $2 billion in a pandemic. That did okay. Or that did really, really well. But the Super Mario Brothers movie, it does nostalgic things, but it does it tastefully. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, here's a small little Easter egg for you. Oh, here's another small little Easter egg. And they're just several small Easter eggs just thrown at you left and right, which for some people can be annoying, especially the general audiences who don't play Mario all that much, or very rarely who know who Mario is. There are several things where it's like, okay, that may be, because, again, in the trailer, when Luigi's phone rings, or when the Mario Brothers phone rings, it's the GameCube startup sound. The boom 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 boom. Like it sounds like the GameCube startup, and that's just their ringtone because it sounds like a ringtone. But that's one of those things. It's like, oh, that's so cool. I remember these. There's several references and stuff, and it's so fun. So like I said, if you like Nintendo and you like Mario, you'll definitely like this movie. By far, one of the best scenes, though, is definitely the fight between Mario and Donkey Kong. The overall movie was just really well done. They were able to pack so much stuff into one movie. And this movie also is definitely made for people with a smaller or shorter extension span, because the plot just moves. Like, within 10 minutes, you already have, the brothers established. They know about Bowser. They know about the Mushroom Kingdom. They're already in everything, and they're starting to get their adventure going. Like, within, the first 15 minutes, it's like, boom, 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 boom. It's like, holy crap, But, again, it's made for children. Most children do not have most children do not have a very long attention span. So they have to continuously keep moving things to make sure people are still interested, and most children are invested in a movie like that. I see a lot of adults that are the same way, so it's not that big of a deal. So let's see, we talked about the plot, we talked about the characters, we talked about the story. Let's talk about the ending. The ending of this movie was confusing for me. I knew why they did it, but at the same time I was like, really? You're gonna do that for a quick minute and then kind of go back to what you were doing? Because it's the final battle between Mario, Luigi, and Bowser is awesome. But it's like the way they go about doing it, it's like, okay, that makes sense, but at the same time that doesn't make sense. So I mean, it was one of those things that's like, I wouldn't have done it that way, but it was still cool to see. So again, I'm not saying any spoilers or anything, so for those of you who have not seen the movie, you're more than welcome to go into it free-handed. But it is a little bit weird at least for me it was, on the choices that they made when they did the final battle. I thought the final battle itself was awesome. I had a big dumb smile on my face the whole time. It's just getting to that point was just like, okay, you guys do this happens, and then all of a sudden everything goes somewhere else. It's like, whoa. So, like I said, now there's going to be several fans debating on whether or not this was better than the Sonic movies in terms of video game movies. Honestly, it's tied. For me, it's tied. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I had a really good time with. I thought was really well done. There's only one problem with that. Sonic the Hedgehog does have those cheaper jokes of, oh, well, we'll have a fart joke and a poop joke here, or whatever. And that's just because it's just aimed at a young audience. Mario does the same thing. But their humor does not have fart and poop jokes like I was fearing that they would. Their humor is actually tasteful and actually made me laugh several times. So, between Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Mario, I think they're about tied. In terms of animation, Mario wins hands down. In terms of like nostalgia and faithfulness to the games, Mario again would win hands down. But in terms of like doing something original while also keeping a lot of stuff very faithful, Sonic the Hedgehog wins all the way. There's just so much that they did between both movies. There's just so much stuff that they did to like please fans, give fans Easter eggs and like references and whatnot. And that's one of the reasons why Sonic the Hedgehog 2 didn't do so well with critics, was because it was like, oh, it's just a nostalgia trip, and I don't know half of these characters, I don't know half of this stuff, and it's like they don't know that because they're just casual Sonic. They don't really know about Sonic the Hedgehog. They just like the first movie, and it's like, hey, well, they're making a second movie, let's go and see that. And that's why they don't get the whole big end credit scene with Shadow the Hedgehog. They don't get the whole, Death Egg robot stuff. They don't get any of that because they don't know what the hell it is. They don't know what the hell the Chaos Emeralds are. They don't know anything about that. So yeah, it is a very, very referential movie. But but Mario does do it more than the first two Sonic the Hedgehog movies did combined, which is saying something. So. But anyway, like I said, if you're into Mario and you like Nintendo, definitely give this movie a check out. I personally give it a solid 10 out of 10. Or at least a 9.5 out of 10, because with the exception of like one or two things that I'm like, okay, that could have been done a little bit differently. Other than that, the movie was really good. It was fun. It was really good. It's not perfect by any stretch of the word, because all movies have their hiccups in it, but this one I feel was done right. That's one of the reasons why Nintendo always keeps their stuff so secretly. They treat it like what Marvel should start treating their movies, or were supposed to start treating their movies like, where everything is locked up tight and nobody knows anything about it. So that's one of the things that I feel really made this movie work, is they kept everything so far under wraps, they kept it a secret, and it just paid off. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you guys saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, let me know what you guys thought about it. Please don't leave comments, spoilers comments in the comment section for people who have not seen the movie, because I try not to do stuff like that, or let stuff like that happen. So if you guys do comment on this video, don't put anything spoilerish in the comment section below for people who are interested in the movie. Otherwise, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.